Hi, my name is Karma, aka McKenna, and I am going to read a poem to you that I wrote a few weeks ago. This poem is called Maintain Discourse. Keep my discourse maintained. I've had this pain in my backside for years, sleeping on poorly made beds, sleeping with the wrong people. I slept upside down like a marsupial. I slept sideways like a sun-bathing cat. My discourse is always and never the same. Somehow ever changing, somehow ever maintained. Lately, I do not rattle the ship. Lately, rocking the boat doesn't seem worth it. I just had a flash of being somewhere I am not anymore. Good morning to you. Good morning to me. I check the clock and I see that it's 9:30. My discourse is in between.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Karma, also known as McKenna, and this is Social Exposure 5. It's currently very windy outside. It's probably going to rain. Not to give you a weather forecast, but I'm fixing to go to the gym and kind of just change spots because this was all blowing around and it's kind of lightweight. So I have what I want to talk about written down, and I'm going to basically go over the things that I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to talk about the things that I'm going to cover are my decaying ego and a new one forming, opening new doors and going through them, um, how I feel about the saying "you are never truly ready" and my take on it through a metaphor, questions of my own sovereignty, my innate confidence and how I feel about that, my trip to Guatemala in July, um, my voice feeling disconnected from my body and the journey to bring my voice back into my soul and my vessel, and then the courage to speak in any language through my own tongue. Um, and then I'm gonna go over a few things that I'm going to be doing next week that I'm going to be posting. So before I get into those things, also by the way, we're right next to a highway, but I don't think you can hear it because this muffles it out. So um, before I get into those things, I want to kind of go over my morning this morning, which was filled with a lot of uncertainty that led me to break some of my discipline that I had made towards myself, which was not to ask ChatGPT or AI to give me certain answers on outcomes for my life when I'm feeling worried or anything, or like I don't know. I felt very uncertain this morning, which led me to kind of have a little bit of an emotional break. But I bounced really quickly. I have my favorite. This is my favorite coffee mug. I found it in a junkyard in the middle of the country. Um, so cute though. I love this mug. Nobody can take this from me. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of more so about. I don't like to talk about it too much because I've been dealing with it for the past, I don't know, 4 or 3 years. But I guess long story short, when I was a teenager, I had a psychosis and it led me to be medicated and gain a lot of weight. And it took me 4 years to come to where I am now. But I'm still battling with the aftermath of that situation of being highly medicated as a teenager with my body. And it just, there was a lot of grieving stages and there was a lot of having to go to build confidence within myself again after all of that mental health and injury happened to my mind and my body. And I don't want to make this like a mental health like YouTube channel, but that's just like what I go through. And this morning I was just having trouble with my body image because of those things that I went through. Because at some point, having to fix something that you didn't do, that like, I guess in a way, but you have to take responsibility, to do it. You get god awful. You get tired of having to look down at something that happened because of a really bad time in your life. It's like seeing an aftermath injury for a long time. And everybody, not everybody, but I'm sure that other people probably feel the same way. uh, I get tired of looking at it. I get tired of having to see myself this way. And sometimes I'm like, is all the things that I'm doing, the wellness and taking care of myself, actually going to, you know, change anything? But, and yeah, so, anyways, long story short, like I said, I went through a psychotic break in my teen years that led me to be highly medicated and gain a lot of weight from that, which has led me to come back down to size, but still having to deal with other body image issues because of it. And I love what I'm doing for myself because I haven't felt this active in my own life, in my own body, for many, many years. But I don't like dealing with the uncertainty if I'm going to see the changes and the results that I want to see without having to somehow pay $20,000 for a surgery. I don't want surgery, I want to believe that since I'm 23 or almost 23, that my body still has enough of its own power to do what it needs to do by itself. And I just kind of had an emotional outburst. Usually, they used to last way longer than they do now. It only happened for like 3 minutes. Because no matter what, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Because when I asked the universe what if it like everything that I'm doing matters or working, the answer was just keep doing what you're doing. So with that being said, I'm sure that I'm going to see exactly what I want. And the self-doubt of anything external, like I can't ask anything external for advice. The only advice I can take is from me and the things that guide me. Because if I ask anything else for advice, it's going to lead me to crash out. So one of my disciplines is to not use chat GPT or any type of AI for any like questions like that. So getting back into what I wanted to cover today. So moving right into the first topic. So my ego that's dying and the one that is forming now, which I see kind of a split definition in who I am from who is literally already there, but like is going to take the forefront almost. So like again with the uncertainty, that is a part of my old ego. Sorry, I just saw something. It's a part of my old ego dying out, believing that the outcome isn't going to like what I want to see isn't going to happen, or like worrying if I'm going to see any results or if the things that I'm doing matter, because I've had a lot of trouble with that this week. Like looking at the things that I'm studying, from the languages, the political theory, and the stuff that I'm even creating, though it's also fruitful to me. I'm like, what's the purpose? Why do you want me at this place in my life? Like, what's the purpose of this? Like, always having like a question. That's my decaying ego, the person that I have been for the last 4 years, always had this sense of uncertainty, even though like she knew the answer most of the time to most of the questions. You know, she was still dealing with growing up being called like a know-it-all, and this newer version of me, or like the middle version of me who I am now, is like, okay, then I am a know-it-all. Like, if I do have the answer and that makes me a know-it-all, then let me be one. Though I don't think that I know everything, I usually have the answer to my own questions. Nobody has been able to clearly answer my questions for me, and it usually leads to confusion. I can take what I can for what other people say, but it's at the end of the day, I have to listen to myself and to the things that guide me, like I say. In this new ego, she just does not care. She's so unbothered by absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. She's sexy, she's fun. She doesn't worry about yesterday. She's always just there, right there in the moment. And I'm just like in between, I guess. So yeah, being in between that. I had something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. Go figure. I love rain. I actually charged this time, so it's not going to die out on me. Um, so yeah, that's great. It's a great new thing. So opening new doors and going through them is the next thing I want to talk about. So with this in between state, there's like a lot of choices to be made and a lot of doors. It's like I'm looking in front of me. There's like 20 doors. Do I open them and go through them, or do I avoid them? And to go through them, I hate saying life is a test, but in a way it is. Like, to go through them, I have to kind of like surpass an old dialogue or surpass an old idea of how my life is to go through them, to walk through them. And that is really hard. That reminds me of what I wanted to say. Shit. Damn. It left me again. Um so like I'm just deciding, am I going to finally put an end to certain ways of being or thinking to go through those doors? Because the more that I do that, the more that the skin that needs to shed sheds. But it is hard. It's hard. You know, and the truth is that I have all the time in the world, but do I want to literally like waste more time going through those doors, or just bite the bullet and go through? That's another thing that I had to do this week. That's what I wanted to talk about. Side note, I felt like a lot of my thoughts were becoming not independent, but thoughts that I was agreeing with through social media content and then taking on as my own. And I was like, okay, I need to get off of social media. And I kind of made like a pact. I was like, if I'm going to create content, I need to be the creator. I'm not the consumer. I'm not the consumer. So my vow to myself is like not to consume other creator or content creators' content as much, because I'm a creator myself, and I've been able to create so well. Like I was having a creative block, and when I put all the stuff down, even like music that has like lyrical music, I was able to open up to my own creativity and get more of my independence back. So that's like, you know, that was something that I had to do this week, is like completely detox my brain from other thoughts from the internet, opinions. I had been watching a lot of content about like men and how they, and like women and like men in this generation, and like all of that, and I was thinking about that a lot. I was like, okay, that is making my mind a little bit like male centered. I need to, yeah, exactly. Um so moving on to the next topic, the saying "you are never truly ready." I think that I kind of disagree with that, because I've been told that my whole life, when I guess like I was like, I'm not ready to do this, I'm not ready to do that. People are like, you're never truly ready, you just got to do it. So my metaphor for this is my driver's test to get my driver's license. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 21 because of what happened to me as a teenager. Um, the first I took 2 driver's tests, failed the first one. The first driver's test that I took, I didn't feel ready at all. I was anxious. I just felt like I wasn't going to pass. And this relates to like how I've been my whole life. The second driver's test, I didn't have a care in the world. I put my hands on the steering wheel. Within 5 minutes, I passed that test. I feel like, for me, I have always known when I was ready to pass through, again with the doors, to pass through a new door or to reach another milestone. My body and my mind makes me ready when we're all ready, when like everything inside of me is ready. I have always known when I was ready. When I push myself, even though I'm nervous or I'm not fully certain, it doesn't work out. But every time that I'm like ready, there's an aligning of innate confidence within myself that is like, I'm ready, and I don't even think about it, and it works out. Now, do you have to take risks and make mistakes, like I've said in the other videos? Yes. But for certain things, like let's say me speaking Spanish with a native speaker and having no anxiety about it, that will naturally come. For me, when I am ready for something, my body and my spirit, my mind makes it, my heart, it makes itself ready where I don't have to question it. So when it's like you are never truly ready, I've always known when I was ready. I've always known when I was ready. But whenever I tried to put pressure, too much pressure, and push myself to do something, it would jumble up and it would fall, because it does take patience. A lot of things take patience. It takes work to push yourself, but pushing yourself and being ready are not the same thing. Yes, you got to push yourself and go hard, but you also have to know, and you feel when you're ready. Just like my driver's test. And that's been my whole life. Whenever I was fully confident, I was like, oh, I know it's going to happen. I know I'm going to get that job. I know I'm going to make this happen. I know I'm going to throw this party. I know I'm going to make this 50K. I know that I'm going to be a polyglot. I know that I'm going to have the body of my dreams. I know that. Whenever I was fully certain, it just happened. Does it take... There's a lot of building up to that? Yes. But I've always known I was ready. I can't speak for everybody else. If you don't know when you're ready and you have to like jump the boat and decide whether you're going to drown or not because you never know when you're ready, that's you. My intuition has always been intact. And that's also why I need to stop, crashing out with the uncertainty. This is it's like you can hear when I speak, I have my own answers. And when I've played these videos back, this is like what, the 7th video I've made. I'm always like, that's so funny. Can you please remember that? So yeah. So I've been having questions of my own sovereignty. I read, so with the book that I'm still reading, the social contract. I read chapter 9 of property, and then I moved on to book 2 and read chapters 1 and 2. And reading them, just I had a lot of questions. I wrote down my questions in my notes that later today I'm going to have to see if I have accumulated an answer to. Um, it just made me question if there's any true natural sovereignty or liberty left in the world. It made me question how free am I truly, and how much am I giving away myself? Because I feel like, to put it truthfully, I have felt and tasted my full freedom. In some parts still scare me to understand, like, how powerful that can truly be. I'm still overcoming the fear of my own power sometimes. Like, that's a part of my healing, and opening those doors and going through them. Knowing what my freedom, my personal freedom feels like, and me knowing what that feels like, and even having a moment with it, I'm like, damn. So I'm questioning, how much sovereignty am I giving away, even in my own personal life? Because I know that I'm giving away some of it, because maybe I feel as though I'm not ready to hold all of it. I don't know. Possibly that. Uh, but I had a sit down. I was like, how free am I truly, and how much freedom am I allowing myself to feel? Debatable. But I know that things will change, or my crash out would have been all day and not 3 minutes, and I wouldn't have just hopped into my gym clothes and got ready and said, "Girl, get the fuck up." It used to be, when I'd crash out about, like, feeling grief, or feeling like I'm trapped inside my body, which I don't feel that as much anymore. I just am like, okay, but I know I got to be patient. I got to slow down. I am a very efficient person, which also sometimes leads me to not know how to slow down. So I've been sitting my ass down and meditating this week. But anyways, I damn, that keeps happening. Okay. Moving on to my innate confidence. Like I said, when my it's like, my innate confidence is the same thing, almost like the chakra feeling or whatever. It just, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going in. I I have always been labeled the confident friend or the confident person, even in times where I was having a really hard time with my life. When I was a little bit younger. I'm still really young, but I have always been labeled that person. I didn't see it for myself. It is the saying about some people see parts about you before you do is true, which I don't know why, but it is. I know that I'm like an innately confident person, even when I struggle with certain things. And when I am ready to go through a door, my confidence just is like, it doesn't have a word, it doesn't have any, it's just movement. It's just movement. So, yeah. Also, I am going on a trip in July. I'm going on a trip in July. I'm going to Guatemala. So, I have been I have currently been studying uh, the Maya, and that in one of their indigenous languages. And that's the indigenous language that I was speaking about in previous videos. I have been studying Quiche, and I have basically just been going over the history of the Maya and their civilizations that spread across Central America and all all over really. And just that has been the what I've been doing besides learning Spanish. And I am going to Guatemala in July to, just basically explore more of the country and the people and all of that. I'll be there for about a month, which that will be the longest trip I have ever taken. So I have so far been to Japan, which I was only there for 2 weeks, and then I went to Germany last spring break last year to see family, and I was there for about a little less than 2 weeks, and that was a blast. There was a lot of hard times for me there. When I travel, I learned some very hard lessons when I travel. It's always an adventure. Sometimes it's a little bit scary. Not gonna cap, but I always am exactly where I need to be when I'm in another place, and I'm hearing and seeing and doing exactly what I need to be doing. It's a crazy experience. Like I always say this, I would love to have like at least one trip where I'm like just like sitting back with a pina colada on a beach getting a foot massage from like a sexy man or something. Like just like a vacation. But no, when I go, it's like a trip. It's a travel. It's travel and vacation, and it always ends up being a travel. Like it ends up being something that I really needed, or like it's like it always feels like a retrieval of a piece of myself, like understanding more about me and more about everything when I travel. And being that I went to Japan and Germany in less than a year apart, and this is my third trip having my passport since 2024. I'm like kind of like, wow, okay, go, yeah, yeah. Central America, let's go. Anyways, um so I've been battling with this probably since my psychosis like 7 or 8 years ago. It's a lot having to do with my voice. My voice has always been a very big power source for me. The first creative outlet that I ever picked up from the time that I was about 7 was writing. As soon as I learned how to write, I would write everything down. I'd write play skits, I'd write poetry, I'd write songs. I painted a little bit too, but writing was like that was the thing that I grasped onto because there was always a pen and paper when there was nothing else. When there was nothing else around me, there was always a pen and paper. But after my psychosis, I felt like my voice became almost like feeling like it's disconnected from my body and my like mind almost. Where it's like I can have thoughts, but it's disconnected from me and it's not fully connected to me, just like how I felt about my body this morning, basically, like feeling a little bit of a disconnect. And honestly, it really reminded me of watching The Little Mermaid when I was a kid, when Ariel lost her voice and somebody else wore it. Like it feels like sometimes I'm not the one wearing my voice, and it's my voice. It shouldn't belong to anything else but me, and I should only feel it here. Sometimes it's gotten a little bit better, but literally it has not gotten enough better. Like I can feel my voice in my body without the disconnect. But the disconnect brings a lot of hardship and a lot of emotional grief. And I am right now figuring out the journey. I'm on the journey to bring my voice back to my body, to my soul, to my vessel. So to bring my voice back here to me. To and maybe that's finding my voice more. I feel as though that's not the problem. It's that I need my voice to integrate into my body and be one with me, nothing else, because I should be the only one wearing my voice. And this is the start of the journey of me retrieving my voice and getting my voice back to where nothing else can wear it, metaphorically speaking. Because once my voice is not, feels like it's not like a unattached like tendril, or like from my body, and it's here, man, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. No Little Mermaid anymore. Like, I need my voice back. So yeah, that's a really hard one for me to talk about. uh, with that, I feel like on being on that journey of retrieving my voice back into my body, it's going to allow strength and courage in speaking in other languages, in speaking in any tongue in any way that I want, to become in more control of how I feel and what I say and what I think and what I do, to have more balance over those things, to speak whenever I feel like it and not worry, to speak in other languages no matter what. My voice is one of the most important things. Now, there's a lot of other important things that I haven't learned about yet. Again, with the natural freedom and my sovereignty, little by little, because man, I am one hell of a person. And just finding courage and that innate confidence to know when I'm ready to speak to others, to life, in any language, in any tongue that I desire. I think that's basically all for today. So I'm doing a little bit of a music video thing, and next week I'm gonna post it. It's for a little experimental song that I made, and I kind of just wanted to share that. So I'm going to be posting that on Tuesday, and it's just going to be a small little experimental thing, and it's going to be good. Life is good. You know, maybe in this moment I opened a new door and I went through, because it feels like that a little bit. The breathing and the overwhelm usually means that there was something that I passed through. So, hi, I am Karma, also known as McKenna. And this is me today. It it might not be me tomorrow. Thank you.